What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, check it out, guys. Today we talking promoters, promoters. Can't get enough of them. Let me see what we got in the house right quick. My man JD Boxing Jackal in the building. What's good with you, fam? Martin Machine up in the building. What up, Martin Machine? Appreciate you coming through, bro. Say what's up, Mar. I hope everybody's doing well. That's right, guys. So yeah, like I was saying, guys, today we're gonna be talking about the promoters. I just came up with this topic. Well, I actually had this topic, right? I actually had this topic brewing. Like I wanted to talk about this, but I wanted to put it into I wanted to put it in a way where it fit in with Speak Your Mind Sports Talk Live Daily and what we do here. So we're gonna discuss these promoters, and I've come up with certain categories that we're gonna put these guys, that we're gonna measure these guys in, and then we're gonna see who best fits in such category. And then we're gonna rank them at the end of the show because we always have something to summarize or close the show out with. So that's basically what we're gonna do today. So I do have the link in the chat already up top. Again, guys, remember on Speak Your Mind Sports Talk Live Daily, 4 maximum on the panel. Yesterday was an exception because Beats and Rhymes decided to come through, and much respect to Beats and Rhymes, bro, and his dedication to the sport and knowledge, and it's always a pleasure to have him on. So I made an exception. Gusta Rogue in the building. What's good with your fam? David, what's up, David? David in the building. What's good with your fam? Boxing Virus, what's up? For the love of sports, let's talk about it. That's what's up, Boxing Virus. Appreciate you. Martin Ramos in the building. What's good with you, Martin Ramos? Shiz Biz. What up, Shiz Biz? Appreciate you coming through, fam. So we're going to talk about these promoters and put them in such categories. And, we're going over, I've already decided that we're going to talk about the major guys. I'm not going to put everybody in. I mean, you got Frank Warren. He causes ruckus, no doubt, in the game. DeBella, you got these guys. But, the major guys is basically who I put. And I'll put Floyd Ellerbie. I gave him that name, Floyd Ellerbie. Because Al Heyman is just a scapegoat, per se. I really believe Floyd is the one causing all this ruckus over at the PBC, but who knows? But anyway, we're judging Floyd today for the PBC foolishness in general. What up, Gretna? What's good with you? All right, yeah. Don't turn it too loud because I might curse. I don't want to get you in trouble. Shit, biz. Truth Bomb Jake in the building. What's up, Rich Gang? St. Brit in the building. What's good with you, St. Brit? These are only the top guys. For the purpose of this discussion, yeah, because they're the most significant, the most effective, the most impactful. You know what I'm saying, JD? And I mean, they're involved in the biggest fights. They're involved in the fights that we want. So I'm pretty much sticking to them. Then we can't really go on for hours and hours and hours. So I gotta kind of narrow it down. You know what I mean? So get this smoke in the building. All right, let me drop this link in the chat again. You guys know I need these 2 or 3 up here to get the discussion started. Boxing Monster in the building. What's good with your fam? Appreciate you coming through, Boxing Monster. Said Ellerbie only thinking about stroking Floyd's chest. Oh boy. Man, you're getting started already. Boxing Algarete. What's up, fam? What's good with you? Appreciate you coming through. So here, Jackal, JD, here you go. This is what we're talking about. So I got Floyd Ellerbie. we're gonna be talking about Floyd Ellerbie, basically Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Ellerbie is his right hand man, his crony. But we definitely gonna be talking about him. He's involved in this. We have Oscar de la Coquette, as Dana White called him. We're gonna be talking about Oscar. Of course, y'all know I stay on Bob Arum, so you know we definitely gonna. Bob Arum's a part of the discussion, and Eddie Hearn. So these are the guys, you know. These are the four guys that's going to be involved in the discussion today. Soccer Training Club, what's good with you, fam? Carlos in the building. What's up, Carlos? I see you out there. All right, guys, I got the link in the chat. Link in the chat. Is that the right link? Did I put the link in the chat? That might be that's a video. Oh, my bad. I guess I didn't put the link in the chat. Nitty G. Why you lying to the fans, man? I don't know, Nitty G. Why you think I'm lying? I'm getting ready to put the link in the chat, Nitty G. Why don't you come tell me why I'm lying right quick? I'll give you 3 minutes to tell everybody why I'm lying to the fans. I'm getting ready to put the link in the chat. Just for you, Nitty G. This is a special link for of course everybody who's joining the panel today for the show. But we're going to give Nitty G 3 minutes before we start the show to tell everyone why Dee Jefferson is lying to the sports fans. There you go, Nitty G, my man Nitty G in the building. That link right there is for you, and that's the right link, everybody, for who's ready to come join the show today. Sorry, I was putting the wrong link in there. That was to a video. Andre in the building. What's good with you, Andre? It's crazy how they prey on Eddie's downfall when he's giving us all good fights. Yeah, that's a good point. Andre, you can join the show today too. All right, guys, we got Nitty G in the building. Nitty G going to tell us why Dee Jefferson is
you need to stop lying to the fans, man. You've been talking about Deontay Wilder for too long, man. You just don't know what's actually going on in the ring, man.
So, okay, thanks, Nitty G. Well, guys, I guess he explained it all. There you go. You heard it first from Nitty G. I don't know who that. I don't know who the hell that was, bro, but that was Nitty G, Smoke. He just told us everything while I'm lying to the fans. So shout out to Nitty G. He did click the link. And what's up, Smoke? What's good, bro?
Not a whole lot. Chilling this morning.
Yeah,
I guess it's afternoon for you.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. 12:11 here. So Triple J in the building. So did you get the description, Smoke, what we talking about today?
Yeah, I don't understand why you leaving, the likes of the great Kathy Duva out of this discussion.
Oh my God, no.
So, but I guess that's you. I guess that's how you roll. But no, on a serious note though, what about like the Sauerland Schaefer, right? The World Boxing Super Series.
Yeah, I was thinking
just a nice shout out, right?
I was actually thinking about putting them in, but I don't think that. So, like, when we get into the topics, you guys will understand why I didn't really put them in. I think you could pretty much get why I didn't put them in either. Anyway, Chenn,
yeah,
Smoke, what's up? Because I mean, like, the Super Series is cool. Like, don't get me wrong, right? But like the overall aspect of it, Oscar and Hearn and Floyd, and like I said, Smoke. I don't want this to be a debate today, but I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, no, I'm just I was just making a joke, actually. Like all those guys in the Super Series have promoters.
No. From this perspective, yeah, that too. But from this perspective, all I was saying is I'm putting the PBC on Floyd's shoulders today. Okay. So I'm just letting you know that. Because I'm not gonna get into breaking down Heyman Floyd. Do you understand where I'm coming from? right now when we
So-
talk promoters, I'm putting the PBC on Floyd's shoulder today. So I just want you to get it from that perspective, because there's going to be, you make good points. So make your points. And if your points are valid, then they work. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't want to get into the back and forth for, well, Floyd's not responsible for this. I'm just letting you know that before we start this, bro, because it's too much going on over there to break it down. But we do know that Floyd's involved in a lot. We can't prove too much of anything that we discuss on this platform or any other platform, but we do know Floyd's involved. So we're just going to talk.
So when you say Floyd, you're not talking about the fighters that are specifically signed to Mayweather promotions. It's a catch-all for PBC right now.
Right now. I mean, okay. Because look, we're going to be talking about Oscar in reference to Golden Boy. We're going to be talking about Arum in reference to Top Rank, and Eddie in reference to Matchroom and basically the Zone. So I'm not just going to sit here and talk about Floyd in reference to TMT when we understand that he does have influence. I'm not saying he runs the whole fucking show, but we can all agree that he has influence on what goes on over there at the PBC. Therefore, I'm going to put it on his shoulders. That's just how I'm going to do it today for the discussion purpose. If he won't run in his mouth, if he didn't get up there and tell Manny to shut the fuck up, that he's his boss, he works for him, then I wouldn't say these things, because Manny had to deal with the PBC, not TMT. So when Floyd gets up there and run his mouth about shit like that, I'm going to put shit on his shoulders. You understand where I'm coming from?
I do, and the whether or not it's deserved is a topic for a different conversation, I guess. But,
exactly.
Right, we can just move on. We can just move on.
See, Smoke? We can do this, brother. We can do this. Allison, what's up with you, fam?
Mic check. Oh,
all right, you good? All right, guys. So look, we get ready to start this show. I will drop the link in the chat. Again, this is the right link this time. For a fourth person to come up and give your thoughts. A lot of people like to start giving thoughts after we get started, but that's what's up. My man, Boxing Finesse. Salute to the Godfather of all. Bless up to you, Boxing Finesse. That's my man. All right, so here we go, guys. So we talking promoters today, Alistair, Smoke, and first two categories are the worst and the best. But what we're gonna do is reserve those for last, okay? Because we're gonna go through these categories, and this is not really gonna determine who's the worst or the best. But for discussion purposes, we can at least say what we think, what everybody in the chat thinks. South Croy in the building. What's up, South Croy? The link in the chat if you want to come up. Justin Trouble in the building. I buy houses. What's up with you, fam? But we can at least say, for conversation's sake, who we think is the worst, who we think is the best, figuratively, Smoke, not literally. You know what I mean?
I'm with it.
All right. Because they all fucked up in a certain way. Y'all already know how I feel about these promoters. But anyway, and I'm all scruffy, guys, so I'm not on camera today. I need to hide this scruffy face. I need to shave and stuff. All right. So let's start off with the most deceptive. And I put in parentheses snake. So we can really take that any way we want. Hold on right quick, guys. I don't know. I've never seen this person, so.
Hi, man.
What up? Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured that was some kind of troll or something. I didn't recognize the name, so I was already on guard. Hey, man, these guys out here are funny. I see Carlos get ready to try to come up in here. All right, guys, so most deceptive, snake, basically, bro. Come on. I mean, again, I'll let you guys break it down a bit about what your idea is. Carlos, I don't know what's going on. I see you backstage, but it says device not connected, so you might be having service issues. But so I'm gonna start with you, Smoke, and I'm gonna start with Oscar de la Hoya. All right, we're gonna start with Oscar De La Hoya Smoke now. When we talk about this category of being the most deceptive snake, whatever. All right, Carlos, no disrespect, bro, but you couldn't make it on. South Korea jumped on. He beat you to the punch. Oh, wow. Somebody that stole South Korea. Yo, these people are crazy. Unbiased, jump on here, man, so I can stop letting these idiots on screaming on my live. Anyway, go ahead, Smoke. Start with Oscar De La Hoya. We're talking about the most deceptive snake. Like, where you think he ranks? When it comes to Floyd, Bob, Eddie.
On the snake scale,
deception.
He's not really that slimy. He learned from Bob how to scapegoat a guy and how to not make a fight and blame it on the other dude. But that's about the extent of his sliminess. I don't really hear people not getting paid or him putting the switcheroo or making fighters go in there when they're not prepared. Although that Saddam Ali Munguia seemed like a setup. No, he's not really that slimy. I think he is the least slimy. Mayweather also is not really that slimy a promoter.
Oh, we'll get the Floyd. We're gonna stick to Oscar, right?
But no, I'm just saying. But you got to give him a rate, right? After rating the other guy. Jeez. Is that dude all right? I'm just trying to get concerned a little bit.
I don't know. He must be off his medication.
Yeah, my man got the straight up primal scream every time. Like, okay, is he at war right now? Anyway, so are we? If we're ranking him, I would put him right above Floyd.
Right above Floyd in the deceptive and slimy and snake department.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, yeah, I got it. All right. So, Alistair, what do you know about Oscar De La Hoya and the level of his deception?
You guys are a promoter, right?
Where do you rank him? Where would you rank him compared to these other guys? Like, would you say he's the most deceptive? The biggest snake out of all of these promoters based on what he's doing in boxing?
I mean, no one could beat Bob Arum, but he's probably a close second. I mean, every time this guy's fighter loses a fight, you see part of his hair going off. You know what I mean? It's really because of how old he's getting and the stress that's building up. Canelo couldn't beat Floyd Mayweather, so he really knows he's scarred for life about that. He couldn't beat him, so it turned him into a bad promoter and bitter, and he couldn't make that much money. And he's jealous of this new kid coming up, Ryan Garcia, because he knows he's going to be bigger than him. And that's just the truth. That's just the facts. So that's why he's a bad promoter. But the one good thing he did was get Canelo in there with Triple G, you know what I mean, or whatever. But he lost the first fight. So that is why they got so pissed off. That's why De La Hoya is so bad at.
Hey, Alistair, hold on for a second. I want you to stick to the script, bro, because we're going over different topics. So some of the things you're talking about, you can speak on later. Right now, we're just talking about his deception that he brings to the game and how much of a snake he is, okay? And your opinion on where he ranks concerning these other guys. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't want you to get too deep in it because we got to, for the sake of the discussion, you got to kind of be in and out with these topics. You feel me? You there, Alistair? All right, Unbiased. Welcome to the show, fam.
Yeah, what's going on? For Oscar De La Hoya. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alistair. Your mic was off or something. I don't know if you.
All right, or not. You know what I'm saying? I'll go. For me, Oscar De La Hoya, I think he's a comfortable, maybe, comfortable 2 or 3. Obviously, Bob would be number 1. It's kind of, I guess I can't say Floyd is really that big of a snake. The only thing I could say about Floyd, well, we'll get there, right? So I mean, I'll say Oscar maybe is 2 or 3. I'll put it there.
Right. Well, I don't think it's any secret. Mr. BDA, how you doing, bro? Appreciate you coming through. I don't think it's any secret where I stand. I just really wanted to get others' opinions on this, but I flat out say this all the time. Bob Arum is the biggest snake in this damn business. So, I can't put Oscar as being, the worst in that category. When it comes to deception, when it comes to deceiving the public, and and this is what I'm talking about, like putting out narratives to have the public believe that fights are being delayed or not happening for a certain reason, and making it appear that it has nothing to do with top rank or top rank fighters. Bob is the master of that. And so that's what I mean when I'm talking deception. Nobody in this game does it better than Bob Arum. So not to hate on Bob Arum, but for the topic and the category of, the most deceptive, I think that, Oscar De La Hoya, he doesn't get it. And I'm thinking if anybody here doesn't agree that it's not Bob Arum, we can actually move on from this topic. You know what I mean? Because I think everybody would agree that Bob Arum wins when it comes to the most deceptive, the biggest snake in boxing.
Yeah, I mean,
See, I don't know that I would agree.
All right, well,
I don't know if I would agree. I think he might be in a tie with Eddie. Eddie is pretty damn slick. Yeah, man. Like, listen, if Bob, say what you want about Bob. Bob did not double dip a fight. He didn't actually sell a fight to 2 separate networks, saying he didn't have a deal with the other network. That's pretty damn slimy.
Yeah, but Bob has, you could say that, but Bob has a longevity of being slimy. Like there's years upon years of being slimy.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so if you're gonna get the lifetime achievement award for slime, definitely Bob. But then you gotta put Don King in there though too.
And he's active slime, but we're talking about active promoters. Don King ain't active right now. He is, but
he is.
He got a couple guys. But it's the Vernon out there.
He's insignificant, so we stick in the Bob.
All right. So on the longevity, definitely. But like just straight on the like sheer audacity, like I feel like Eddie does stuff that nobody's ever done. Like Bob may be deceptive to the public and he may be into marinating fights and all that stuff, but it's not anything that Eddie's not into himself, and Eddie does stuff that Bob does not. Bob has never done.
So you got Bob, so you got Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, I got Eddie on top. I think Eddie, as far as Snake goes, yeah, man. Yeah, I gotta throw Eddie in there. I gotta throw him in there.
Well, that's a monkey wrench. I like that, Smoke. That's a difference of opinion. I respect that. So we got 3 for Bob Arum, and we have 1 for
the issue with me is like Bob just he triple talks, right? You know what I mean? Not even double. He like triple talks. He'll say, the Sean Porter fight, before Spence and Sean Porter fought, he said, you know what, Sean Porter, him and Danny, they're not elite. They're nothing to Crawford. The fight doesn't make sense. We just want Spence. All right, cool. He said that. Then Spence and Porter fight. And then he says, you know what? Porter is actually a great fighter for Crawford. We need that fight. You know what I mean? I want to see that. Okay, cool. And then a couple of weeks ago, he said, you know what? Sean Porter and Bud doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. There's no money in it. Like this dude triple talks all the time. You know what I mean? So I really don't believe anything Bob says, to be honest with you. I need to see it. I got to see physical evidence of what he's saying before I can actually take it seriously. So that's my issue with Bob.
Yeah, and Bob Arum, see, like I said, with me, it's just I've been watching this guy, and his snakery.
Oh wait, and also he took money from Floyd. And Floyd was complaining about not getting paid, and I believe Oscar was complaining about not getting paid too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like those were Floyd, I know that the money was the issue on why he left Bob in the first place, because he wasn't getting promoted correctly, he felt like, and Bob wasn't paying him enough, he said. So, I mean, we could talk about that. Like, Bob has, I feel like, double cross fighters a lot. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I don't know. I would say Bob, when it comes to like morals, I think Bob's the worst. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, and I'm not like I said, when it comes to like the fights and what they do to the fans, like get them, the misdirection and the deceit that and the exploitation of fans.
Right.
I think they both have no compunction on doing it. But where I see the difference is with Eddie, it seems like he's not afraid to do it with his business partners either. And I'm not necessarily mad at him getting paid, but if the zone's offer is supposed to be, if what's reported is supposed to be believed, he went through $250 million of their money. Do you see $250 million worth of product coming out of Matchroom? I don't, but I'm sure Eddie got paid.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the business side of that, and I won't even act like I do, but I do know they've been giving us some good fights, so I don't know what the numbers are on what they were getting as far as subscriptions and everything when they were putting on fights. And
I'll say,
sport, but
when it comes to quality of fights, Eddie gave us way better quality of fights than Bob Arum last year. That's a fact. We got Lomachenko versus Krola. We got Crawford versus Amir Khan. We got who else? Lomachenko versus Campbell. I mean, the Better B versus Vostok fight was cool, but when you in comparison to like DAZN and what I know, Eddie is not like well, I mean, he is a talks person for DAZN technically, but he didn't put these fights on that I'm about to say, but they were on the app. You know what I'm saying? Which was Monster versus Donaire. That was fight of the year. We got Triple G versus Derevyanchenko. Like, if we look at who gave us the best fights, Eddie Hearn wins that argument.
Eddie Hearn didn't put on either one of those fights. Sauerland and Schaefer put on, and it's either Sauerland and Schaefer or Lou DiBella and Cyclone. If you're gonna do the actual guys,
I just said that.
Like Eddie has absolutely nothing to do with those fights. Like you can't put the fights up.
Hold on, Smoke, hold on. He just said that when he said his statement. So look, let's end that one here. We got three basically. BDA said it wasn't Bob Arum once accused of doctoring medical records for Mexican tobacco cans he was bringing for his prospects in the U.S. Yeah, he was. And wasn't he also convicted of paying off of a judge by federal court? I mean, like, it doesn't even BDA, that's another story. I got like 10 stories on Bob, so it's no secret. And I always held him to high regards of the snakehoodism. So we're gonna go with 3-1 on this one, dog, because I just want to move on to the next category. And Smoke, I appreciate a difference of opinion. It's no good if everybody just sit up here and agree on everything. That's what these discussions are about. So keep it coming. All right. So the next topic, guys, we're gonna like this one. And Smoke, I'll let you start off because you and I might actually agree on this. The greediest of these four guys. Now, this one's interesting.
Yeah, the greediest I would definitely put at Bob's feet. I feel like Bob definitely cashes those checks and does the least amount of work. It's maximum. Yeah, I would say he's the greediest. I feel like Eddie puts he works. Like what he works for his check. He sings for his supper. They maximize. I think everybody else leverages product. There's a lot of bullshit fights that comes out of Top Rank. Yeah, I feel like it's Bob. Bob definitely the greediest.
Alistair, you there? I might have to let somebody get on the panel. I think Alistair Iverson technical difficulty.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there, but
All right.
the sound
What's
just went
up?
out, so I'm listening. I'm listening through YouTube, so I might be like 3 seconds behind.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're talking the greediest of these promoters. Which of the ones we might, well, I'm not going to go through each one, but which one would you put in the class of being the greediest, and give us a little context of why you say that? All right, Alice has got a little delay.
Well, shit, I'll go. All right, man. Who's the greediest? I actually, I don't
Well,
know,
I feel
man.
like
That
Bob Arum is the
okay.
most greediest because Bob Arum really, I feel like he made people lower their standards for boxing, and since he's been in boxing the most, I got to give him the most heat. Now he got to get the most, he got to get the most, what should I say? Saying credit for that stuff. You know what I mean? He should get the most blame actually for that. So that's why I think Bob Arum is the most greediest in boxing.
Go ahead, Obz.
I'll say it's a tie. We're saying Floyd is a promoter, right?
Yeah.
I'll say it's a tie then. I got Floyd and Bob because Floyd, it seems to me like he's just a greedy person when it comes to money in general. Well, actually, nah, because that's just talking about Floyd the fighter. So
Right.
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna say it's maybe Bob, between Bob and I gotta throw Oscar in there too, because I mean he made sure he got some money from that Canelo DAZN deal. You know what I'm saying? And he seems to be about money too. I mean all these guys are. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I'll say Bob, but you could probably throw Oscar or Eddie Hearn in there too. But yeah.
All right. Smoke. Smoke, you there?
Yeah, I went first. Yeah, what's up?
On this topic, on the greediest?
Yeah. I said Bob. I said Bob. Like everybody else, I feel like they kind of work for theirs. Bob doesn't do jack shit. He doesn't actually even does promote. He doesn't even promote. Like he just cashes checks.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. I get what you're saying, unbiased about Floyd, but I think Bob,
but I was talking about Floyd the fighter, so I got that kind of So
yeah. So I think Bob's going to win this category again. And the thing is this, like, I don't know, man. I keep a sharp microscope on these promoters, bro. And when I see fights being delayed or not happening, and I know it's the promoter, like, you got to give some heat to the fighter for sure. But I look at the underlying things, like what are these promoters doing, the things they say. And Bob is greedy, bro. He don't want to open that checkbook. It's always a situation with me where sometimes these fights could have happened, but the numbers ain't right for Bob Arum. Bob don't like unification because the numbers ain't right for Bob Arum. Bob don't want 4-belt undisputed because the numbers ain't right for Bob Arum. With me, I got all that off on greed. But
hold on, D. I'm actually retract my statement, man. I actually give Al Heyman a little bit of flame because the more I'm thinking about it,
not in it.
Yeah, but all right. So are we contributing Floyd to be the guy for PBC?
Floyd is PBC.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna give Floyd this heat then, because it seems to me like they all they want to do is pay-per-view fights and star build and not give us like the fights that we all want. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to put it on pay-per-view or they're just not gonna fight. You know what I mean? Like you said that just now, unifications. Bob Arum doesn't want it, but out of everybody on all stables, it seems like Bob Arum is basically the guy giving us the most unifications, or gave us undisputed, and is about to give us a form of undisputed, but WBC and the franchise bullshit F that up, right? So he's actually about to do that. Then Inoue's on his way to becoming undisputed. That's 3 undisputeds right there. Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez, that's 4. You know what I'm saying? So Al Heyman Floyd, PBC, is actually seems to be the ones that are holding up unifications and trying to put everything on pay-per-view. They're not letting Tank fight any quality opponents because they want to star build and make him into a pay-per-view star. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that actually, in my opinion, could go to Floyd, whereas Eddie Hearn is overpaying people. And that's why you know, he's in the position that he's in. So I can't even really call him greedy because he's actually, you know, overpaying people. You know, Mikey Garcia gets $7 million for Jesse Vargas. You know what I mean? So yeah, and Andrade's made $3 million versus Luke Keeler. So, you know, he's definitely overpaying people. And I think Al Heyman or PBC, you could give them the flame too, or you could say they're number one because they're making you pay for fights that we didn't think were pay-per-view in the first place, like the first Fury fight versus Wilder. I mean, if you go back to that timeline, everybody was shitting on it. I mean, Keith Thurman versus Manny, people were like, why are we paying for this? Manny didn't look good in the Broner fight. And then they gave us the fights and they looked good when it happened. But before, nobody wanted it. I'm just saying.
Ahab said Bob invented the word marinate. So look, check this out. Boxing Monster Boxing Monster said, I just hate Bob Arum. What was that comment? There it is. There it is. He said, Dee Jefferson just hate Bob Arum no matter what the question is. Now look, see, Unbiased, I think Unbiased kind of felt the direction I was getting ready to go in. I was getting ready to shock some people there because I was getting ready to say something similar to that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Similar to that. And that's why I spoke on Floyd, because I was getting ready to talk about Floyd as the promoter, because at the beginning I was telling Get This Smoke Unbiased, maybe you won't hear, but we're treating Floyd in this discussion as the PBC, because I'm not going to sit here and talk for hours about break it down between Floyd Heyman. You get what I'm saying? So
okay, yeah, I missed that because
right on the PBC.
There's just one thing I'd like to say. I mean, just when it comes to Floyd, PBC, those guys are actually promoting them. Like you have the inside the PBC, you have these, you have these all access shows. Those guys are actually doing something. When it comes to what Bob's got going on, it's actually ESPN that's doing the promotion for Top. He's doing absolutely nothing, like not at all, and he's still doing pay-per-views also. Like nobody wants to see Amir Khan Crawford fight.
That's true.
Hey, Smoke. I don't like him either.
That's why we gave him Flame, and that's why I'm saying
no,
we could also.
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying that Floyd at least does promote. Floyd, I get you, and I agree with your points about fights on pay-per-view that we don't want to see. Like, why is Broner Pacquiao pay-per-view? Why is Spence Garcia pay-per-view?
So look, to clear this up, you have Bob Arum, correct?
Yeah, I got Bob strictly on just the laziness of the whole thing. Like he doesn't even actually promote.
And Unbiased, you have Floyd, and Alistair, you have Bob, and I have it basically.
No, I'm gonna say it's a tie. I think it's you could. I mean, in my opinion, I think I'm gonna lean towards PBC a little bit more and say Bob could be a very, very close second, like by 5 points.
I got you. So basically, I mean, we got to go with Bob, because with me, I'm the same way. I mean, again, Floyd representing what the PBC stands for right now, I got to put him there because he's always running his mouth as if he's the boss, and we can clearly see he has influence there. So, but with that being said, I say Floyd, but if we got Bob, Floyd, basically you said Floyd's just ahead a slight bit, right, Unbiased?
Yeah, that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it.
Look, we need the chat. We need y'all on this one. Floyd, Bob, the Greediest. Just put it in there. Floyd or Bob, put it in there. Floyd or Bob. Which one of you guys, which one of y'all think is the Greediest between these two? That's basically it. And then I'm going to start on the next topic. We'll get the votes on that in a second, guys. Like I said, I kind of agree with a lot Unbiased is saying, because because I have Floyd as the representative of the PBC and just the whole atmosphere, because that's basically what we're looking at here, guys. Top rank, Golden Boy, PBC, and who basically influences what the fuck goes on over there. We know Bob, Oscar, Eddie, and as far as I'm concerned, Floyd, because Al is a fucking ghost, a myth. We didn't fucking hear about him. We don't see him. We don't know about him. But Floyd talks, things moves. So I'm saying Floyd today. But so we got a good mix up here, guys. I guess this one is fucking draw. Both of those fuckers are greedy, bro. Because even in the chat, it's kind of mixed up, and so we just gonna put that one as a draw, and we're gonna move on to the next topic with the biggest lie.
D, hey, Bob won that. If you look at everybody who said Bob, I think Bob won that one.
You think Bob won? Let me see.
Yeah.
All right, Bob Arum Soccer Training Club. Lisa say Bob. Rodnell said Floyd talks. So Heyman is Floyd. Gretna says Floyd. Tim says it's a fucking tie.
DT3 says Bob. Allegrete says Bob.
Yeah. Tim Dove says Bob. Carlos says Bob. Gunright says Floyd. Boxing Virus says the Jew. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you're right, bro. Yeah, Bob got a little more votes on that. All right, well, we'll go with Smoker Alistair, man. Bob takes the cake on that one. Bob, greedy bastard. All right, so Bob is off to a good start here. He's in 2 categories already. Now we're going to talk about the liar, bro. And I know we're not going to agree on this because, of course, they're all deceptive and snakes. But when we talk about liars, bro, and let's stick to the context, because these motherfuckers been called as so whoppers now, you know. And I'm going to just tell y'all like this. I'm gonna start off with mine, and I know I'm going to get some arguments, okay? But when it comes to lies, because he's involved in so much, because he's working so many deals, I want to say Eddie Hearn. And I'll let y'all come back to me. And then we can go around. So Alistair, I'll start with you, dog. The biggest lie out of all of them. Alistair, man, I'm gonna have to get DT3 or South Croy. Y'all jump on the panel if y'all want. Alistair, no disrespect, bro, but the show is slow. I gotta go ahead on bias.
Promoter who lies the most.
Wait, what was going on? Wait, what was the question?
Yeah, Alistair, your delay is too long. It's like it's kind of all right. DT3, click the link. It's a little bit too long, fam. I have to let somebody up on because I need to keep it at a certain time frame. The responses, but go ahead. I'm biased.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm gonna say I think Bob. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, bro. I think Bob, honestly, this is why I can't trust the motherfucker. But for me, Bob, it's Bob for me. I think he lies the most. But I think PBC is definitely that shit could be a tie. I think it's between PBC and Bob. I'm gonna say Bob gets the slight edge in that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've heard him tell lies, too many times. And even about some of my favorite fighters, and I got to call him out on it. You know what I'm saying? Because you just be lying and double, triple talking, quadruple talking and shit. So,
well, remember now, Floyd representing, and even Floyd himself, but Floyd representing the PBC and all the foolery.
So that's why I'm saying it's a tie for me because Bob obviously has a longer longevity of lying when it comes
to let's keep this stuff in perspective, guys. And I mean, I know we're gonna bash Bob, but let's keep it in perspective. Let's keep it into the relevancy of when these guys were also relevant too, because Eddie Hearn and Oscar and Floyd even weren't relevant when he was getting sued for rigging fights and all of that type of shit. So let's kind of keep it relevant to when all of these guys were around and basically the top guys, and not really on Bob's history. Because if we go on Bob's history, he basically wins every fucking category.
Right.
You know,
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
keep it relevant to what he's doing now. You know,
Right.
amongst these guys. You know what I mean? Lewis
Yeah,
Point.
that's what makes Eddie Hearn so incredible. That in such a short amount of time, he's rivaling Bob and actually outdoing Bob.
Smoke. Hold on for a second. You gonna get your chance on her, nigga.
So, I mean, for me, I'll just say, I think it's a close. But you know what? All these guys lie. Like let's first of all let's say
Damn
that.
right.
You know, Bob lies, Eddie Hearn lies, Oscar lies, definitely the PBC lies. But I think when it comes to the PBC, it's more so the fighters that are lying. You know what I'm saying? Like Earl Spence, you know, he clearly lied to Crawford when he first told him get a belt and then I'll fight you. That didn't happen. And then, you know, Thurman, you know, he lied to Spence, get a belt, I'll fight you. He lied. You know what I mean? Danny said it to Spence too, didn't happen. But it's, you know, get a belt, then I'll fight you. And, you know, now Danny doesn't even have a belt.
Himself, you know, Manny, go ahead, come fight these two fights, and then I'll give you a fight. That's a lie.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Well, yeah.
You know
Yeah. So,
like, again, like, you know what I mean? Go ahead and fight Adrian Broner. Let me see how you look. Then get in the ring with me. And Floyd does this type of shit all the time. So
it's hard to just, this is the issue. It's hard to pinpoint. There's no spokesperson, you know what I'm saying, that we can say. Whereas Bob, he is the spokesperson. So we could say, and Eddie Hearn too, and Oscar. So it's harder for PBC. We can't single out. Then we'll be singling out the fighters and not just the promoter. You know what I mean?
Right. So, well, when the promotion is involved, so like you said, we can't give Floyd heat for Spence telling a fucking lie out his mouth, or Tank telling a lie. We can't really give him heat for that. But for the fights that didn't happen and the foolery that was put out by the network, we could give him the heat for that. You know what I mean? Not for what the fighters say. But yeah, I get what you're saying about Bob Arum, man. Again, but just everybody keep in mind, let's keep it in context of when Floyd and Arum, and I mean not Floyd and Oscar and Hearn was around, because Bob has a long history of treachery in this sport. So we can only hold him accountable for what we're talking about now for today's discussion. But DT3 in the building. What's good with you, Boom?
What's good with you, bro? What's going on? I just thought I might cook with you.
All right, you know what we're doing today? Today's topic, I explained it to you.
Yeah. That's why I had to time in on this one, man. I had to time in, man, because who I think is the biggest liars is just PBC and the whole Al Heyman and all them. And I hear what y'all saying about the networks and the fighters, but check this out, man. Who you think giving these fighters the game? Who you think telling these fighters what to say?
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, these dudes ain't that smart saying they, you know, Floyd was. I ain't gonna flex Floyd was, but even then, Floyd had to talk to Al. Al even told Floyd what to say at times. So if Al had to tell Floyd what to say at certain particular times, I know Jamal Charlo ain't as smart as Floyd Mayweather as far as his business is concerned. You know what I mean? Maybe Earl Spence, I would give him that. I would say Errol Spence is probably up there. Keith Thurman, I would say mentally he's up there. But Jamal Charlo, even Javante, nah. You get them niggas some money, they good. Just get them some money. Let them see the more money they've ever seen in their life. They good. You know what I mean? They don't really know nothing past.
Let me say this right quick, and that's why I know that it's kind of obtuse to do it this way, but that's why I just try to say we're going to put it on Floyd's shoulder, because there's too much shit going on at the PBC. The fact of the matter is, like Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, and Eddie Hearn of their networks, somewhat like Dana White is. They have the control.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to.
Hold on right quick.
Yeah,
but with PBC, we know that Floyd don't really have that control. But bro, we also know his hands is in on everything, and that's why I said we're going to treat Floyd today like the Bob, the Hearn, just for the discussion's sake, so that we don't have to keep going into all of this that we're going into now. That's why I was trying to clear that up. For Obz, that's for you too, bro. So that that's how we're just going to do it for discussion's sake today, because it's too much shit going on at the PBC to do it any other way, in my opinion.
And some people forget what Bob has already given us in the sport of boxing. Bob ain't shy of making big fights.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
let's not
Oh,
discredit Bob. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Bob isn't what we.
We're gonna get into that, bro. Y'all keep jumping ahead.
I know,
Let's
you know how I'm sorry, you know how I do, but I'm just saying, like I don't like that most of the time. But at the same time, if in my opinion, I would say lion wise, I would have to go with the PBC, just on the fact of the fighters. Like that's why fights not happening. The fighters aren't requesting these fights, and it's like we already know that if the fighters want the fights, it will happen if the fighters want it. And Wilder wanted the Fury fight. That's why the fight happened. Because he went to Al and said, hey, I want him. Make it happen, Al. And he made it happen. So if these fighters really, I mean, like in their core, heart of hearts, really wanted to fight these people at whatever particular time, they would do it. And the fighters or the stable, promoters, whatever you want to call it, that are avoiding or lying or bullshitting the most, it's PBC. Period.
Gotcha.
But the only issue with that for me is like it's the fighters versus the promoter, right? So like you stated, or I was trying to state earlier, ESPN, or we have Bob, that's a whole, spokesperson for everybody that fights over there. Same with Eddie and then Oscar too. So with the PBC, it's hard to just pinpoint who's lying, but we could say the fighter is lying, which I'm on board with, and I agree with that. But then there's no like physical evidence of the promoter lying, you know what I'm saying? And which Al Heyman works as a, he does this loophole shit where he'll work as a manager or whatever. So you can't even put it towards him. Now, if you're asking like, does Earl Spence go to Al Heyman and Al Heyman says, hey, you're not going to fight Crawford right now because it makes more sense to make more money later on? That probably does happen, but is that Al Heyman lying or is that Earl Spence lying? You know what I mean? I think that's.
Or is that a lie at all?
I think they can't afford it.
Well, that too, yeah. That's where I'm really trying to figure out, like, is that really a lie, or more so is Earl Spence just ducking? You know what I mean? Which I actually think it's a lie because he told Crawford, hey, get a belt, I'll fight you. So I think that he is lying, or he did lie. You know what I mean? Because that didn't happen right then and there. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that be happening when it happened with Crawford. How he get a belt, he got a belt, or just the whole thing with Crawford. And thing with Wilder and Dillian White. Now don't get me wrong. I've said this plenty of times before. I picked Wilder to beat Dillian White. I don't know how many times I have to say that shit, but I picked Wilder to beat Dillian White every time. But Dillian White did earn his shot. I get it. I know he popped dirty, but he still earned his shot. He still beat people that people didn't think, even I didn't think he was going to beat. I didn't pick him to beat Joseph Parker. I didn't think he was going to beat him. I didn't think he was going to beat Chisora. And I damn sure didn't think he was going to beat Oscar Rivas. So,
and then he got cleared. He got cleared too.
So. And that's what I'm saying. And the fact that he got cleared, even after all that, he's still not getting a shot. And I feel like that's not fair. It doesn't matter what his skill set is, and I'm speaking on the sport of boxing as a whole with this.
We veering off a little bit, Boone. I
want to say that, and then you go back, but it didn't matter about his skill set. It's the fact that he just did what he had to do to get his shot. That's all I wanted to say. That was all I was gonna say.
Yeah, I feel you. But like, it's gonna be some interesting topics about these fighters, bro. But let's stick to the promoters, because as soon as we start digging into that, it's gonna be a lot of back and forth. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't want nobody to respond to me, and I don't get my piece back in there, dog.
Yeah, I got you. I just had to make my point. I was trying to make my point.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, so Smoke, I know you've been waiting, Smoke.
Eddie, patiently. You felt me? You felt me? Oh my God. How in the hell is Eddie Hearn slipping by you guys undetected? Hell nah. $1 billion fast car Eddie ain't getting by this one, baby. Sorry. This dude in 15 minutes has told the biggest lies in boxing. Like, come on, man. Stop it with it. Eddie, it's 600 days with Dillian White. Dillian wasn't no damn 600 days. Like, okay, whatever. All I'm saying, Bob has a track record. If we're going to go longevity, of course it's Bob. But how do you go to HBO and tell them and get a fight when you already have a contract with Showtime? Like, how do you do that? How do you do that with when Bob do something like that? Yeah. my man, Eddie, proof of funds, Hearns. I'm good. I think I can't like Bob. What is it? I already know what's up with Bob, right? I know that it's that he's a marinating, scapegoating, cheap son of a gun, right?
Yeah,
So I already know that about him. With Hearn, I don't know what the hell. Like I just like, was it a $7 million offer? Was it for all fights? Like I don't know. Like nah, homie. I can't. Like nah. It's Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn for me, hands down.
Okay, so here's gonna be a shocker. I agree with Smoke, which I started off by saying I think is Hearn, and Smoke laid out some points, but my thing is this: like I always say this about these promoters, all of them. They like criminal defense attorneys, like these dope dealers, attorneys and shit. It's in their job description to lie and deceive. That's what they have to do to the juries. They got to lie and deceive these people to get their clients off. It's in their job description to do this. So let's not be naive, people, about any of these promoters. Earth Boxing, I don't know if I shouted you out. What's up, fam? And Robotic Raptor just stepped in the building. What's good with you, fam? So I've said this before, like it's in their job description to lie and deceive. And why I have Eddie Hearn up there is because how I hold Eddie Hearn probably in highest regards to these promoters these days, and I have my reasons for that. I also have to put him up there as the biggest liar because he is involved in so much. And because these guys, most of them, all of them out there lying and shit, man, there are certain things that we catch them all double talking or backtracking. So there's things that I keep eyes on Eddie Hearn about. Like if I think you're a stake and I think you hold no fights and stuff, I'm going to keep my eye on you about that. That's Bob Arum for me. If I think you're lying about something, like I think Smoke and I agree with this, we do research first and then, listen to what Eddie Hearn says later, because most of the stuff we think about him is a lie first, and then we'll do, okay, well, he's telling the truth about that. The Smoke is like that too with Eddie Hearn, as you guys could clearly see. Now, I think all of these promoters, again, they lie and deceive, but I keep a sharp eye on Eddie Hearn because he's involved in so much. You know what I mean? And shit, one fair example is this shit earlier with Teofimo Lopez. Hearn, you're a promoter. Devin Haney's a promoter. Y'all said that y'all in a partnership. So either one of y'all could reach out to the kid. It was no reason for Hearn to even involve his name in on that. Whether, he didn't have to involve his name in on that, period. But you're already trying to save face, but save face for what? This is a kid talking. If he's saying he wanted to fight, you or Devin Haney can reach out. And see, so when things like that happen, I'm not going to sit there and give him credit or praise him, but I give him credit for a lot. But when it comes to this liar situation, surprisingly enough, I'm going to agree with Smoke and say Hearn. So DT3 and Boom win. All right, guys. So it's 2-2, but I don't even really need a vote on this one because Smoke, you already know we lost this battle, bro. So
I think Hearn is the most is the promoter that really don't give too much about his fighters too much. I think he cares about his fighters.
Yeah. See, that's why I said it's a lot of good things about Hearn, and that's why I hold him in high regards as being like one of the best of the promoters today. I give him that credit. So, but we're just talking about this particular topic. And since I think all of these motherfuckers lie and deceive, it's not putting a knock on him, but I just think he's probably at the top of the list when it comes to that shit. That's just my opinion.
My whole issue with saying Eddie is like, what points are we saying he lied about? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
My memory.
The most recent one that we were just talking about, that Boone was talking about, was Dillian White saying that he's been waiting for 600 days for his shot. Like, where'd he get that from? There wasn't no 600 days. He was saying that shit for like 3 months. Like
No,
before
I
the
think
Revis.
he meant 600 days as a number one contender.
Yeah, it wasn't none of
Right?
that. It wasn't none of that. Yeah, whatever you meant, it wasn't that. It wasn't 600 days of that either. Like that's my point. It's like
It
nah,
was more than
bro.
365. I bet you that.
He
No, it wasn't.
definitely
No,
was
it was like
number
I'm
one
telling you, man.
contender.
I'm trying to tell. Listen, I'm just. That's just one exact. Like, okay, so who believes that Eddie has $1 billion? Who believes Eddie ever had $1 billion?
Hold on,
Like, do you actually believe that Eddie had $1 billion?
Smoke.
But
Hold on. That was one example, bro. All we need is one. The motherfucker tell lies because here's the thing. We
but
can't.
that's not a lie though.
I know what.
Like he was number one when Brazil was made mandatory.
All right,
Like
That's correct. But he started saying 600 days long before it was actually 600 days.
All right, guys, hold on. Only reason I muted both of y'all because remember, this is what we trying to stay away from. We can all agree on this. Forget about the particular lie because we could go back and forth about the particular lie, right? That's another debate. But we can all agree on this. All of us can agree on this. All of these fucking promoters lie and deceive. That's something we can all agree on. True or not? Right? Do you think that Eddie Hearn is 100% honest and tells about everything? Okay, so that's all I'm saying. The fact that we can agree that all of these promoters lie and deceive, let's not really bicker and go back and forth about one particular lie or whatever. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, that the odds are, because he's involved in on so much, that it's Eddie Hearn. It's Eddie Hearn. And there are certain situations where I've done research and I can't prove it, but I read between the lines and I think that he's not being totally honest either. Okay. And like, that's why, and I don't want to dig into all these situations because we could bicker back and forth about who's lying and who's not, you know what I mean? But just the fact that we know these promoters are lying, let's just go by the fact that you guys gave a point about Floyd Mayweather and the PBC and all of that, and it's valid. So your opinions are that it's Floyd on the Floyd side, and mine and Smoke our opinions are that it's on the Hearn side. So
I was the only one who gave it to Bob and said that
you did
it's almost a tie. I think it's almost a tie between PBC and Bob.
Right,
I'm gonna say Bob is slightly ahead.
Right. You did say that. So we got basically 2 for slightly ahead, Bob, but that means he wins. Shit, that'll be a split decision or majority, however you want to call it. So we got 1 for Bob, 1 for Floyd, 2 for Hearn. So yeah, we're gonna have to give Hearn this one, guys. As much as you guys might not like it, we're gonna have to give it to Eddie Hearn. Shout out to all my UK fans. Hearn gets the biggest liar for this one. The vote is in. All right, so Eddie Hearn on the biggest liar. Number 6, the least effective. Now, guys, let me put this picture back up. And when we start talking about this, think about it. Before you answer, Boone, I'm going to let you crank this one off. The least effective. And Floyd counts as himself. I just got old wide nose behind him because he's always.
What do you mean though by least effective? Like, what does that mean? Like, makes the least amount of good fights, or?
Yeah, exactly.
De La Hoya, Oscar fucking.
Boom! Start it off. Crank. Tell us why.
The Golden Boy. I mean, look at what he did. How many fights have Oscar done? Just him, just Golden Boy Promotions. He went to the Zone. He had to take Canelo to the Zone. He couldn't keep Canelo to himself and was like, "Hey, we finna do this. We finna smash and we finna have this thing over here." That Oscar De La Hoya don't got shit on his own. He had to go fuck with Eddie Hearn. He had to go to another promoter to get his guy some bread. Terrible. You know what I'm saying? He's affiliate. It's not a Golden Boy promotion event. It's affiliation with Golden Boy. But this ain't no Golden Boy promotion shit, bro. This the Zone. You know what I mean? So I have to say with that, it's got to be Oscar De La Hoya. At least with Bob Arum, it's top rank. You know what I mean? When you see Mayweather, it's Mayweather Promotions. You know what I'm saying? It's what it is. Even when you see PBC, it's Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah, Floyd is PBC today, but yeah, I feel you. So you got Oscar.
I got Oscar.
All right. Smoke.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. I got distracted.
Smoke, put the blunt.
What's the question?
Which one is the least effective out of these promoters? The least.
Yeah, I totally agree with Boone. Is Oscar De La Hoya. I think when they sued Al Heyman for all kinds of nonsense that the judge threw out of court.
Right.
They revealed Oscar's books, and in that discovery phase, it turns out that Canelo's like 97% of Oscar's of all of Golden Boy's revenue, even though they have like over 100 fighters. So yeah, the least effective has got to be Oscar De La Hoya.
What's up, B Space? Appreciate you coming through, fam. Unbiased, you up, fam?
So we're just talking about who gave us the best fights in recent times, or what? We're not going by what Bob has given us.
Yeah. Let's keep it like the last 4 or 5 years, bro. I mean, because Bob, like if it comes to the points or the words, Bob's gonna win over longevity. So we trying to keep it in perspective. You know what I mean?
So you know how for Floyd you have it for PBC and then all the fighters for PBC. So can we go with, because you don't have an option for DAZN. You know what I mean? I just realized that because Eddie Hearn technically is a spokesperson for DAZN, but he doesn't match make.
A lot of fights together, so give Eddie Hearn credit for what he's doing. So I give him credit for that happening. So go ahead.
Is there an option for DAZN that has or not? Well, anyways, I'll pretty much.
Is it an option? Just Eddie Hearn is responsible for. Look, if we're gonna put, if we're gonna put the PBC on Floyd show and shit that happens over there, then like the majority of a lot of shit that's happening, we know Hearn's responsible. So give him credit, like give him flame.
But he's not solely responsible for like the WBS, the tournament. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but it was on DAZN. So
yeah, but the real problem is Oscar's on DAZN too.
I know. Listen, hold on, guys. We know he's responsible for, or like we know Oscar's responsible for, then give him credit for those fights, bro. Like, let's not like Canelo. Yeah, he signed the contract, but that's Oscar's boy, so he get credit for the fights. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it in perspective, just for the discussion's sake.
Well, if I'm gonna say who's given us the best quality of fights in the past 4 years, right? That's tough, man, because DAZN hasn't really been around for that long. But
so they lose, but Matchroom and Golden Boy have, so they're going to get DAZN put together.
Oh no, this is the least. Who's the least effective? Who's the least effective?
About the so they can't
Floyd.
Everything they got from
TMT Promotions. TMT Promotions is garbage, like straight trash. Floyd, easy. Definitely Floyd.
No, you can't.
But the issue though is Floyd is the entire PBC in this discussion, not just TMT.
But I'm only singling out TMT Promotions. That's all I'm talking about. Just that section of that he represents. He's representing himself, right? So I'm gonna say TMT Promotions is the worst, the least effective in all of the equation to me. Just the least.
Okay, but I'm biased. If you giving Floyd responsibility like Oscar and Top Rank with Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn and the fights that the PBC have given us, are you saying the same thing? Because we can't.
No, I'm so just like
Floyd for the shit for PBC, but not give him credit for like in this part of the topic. So we got to give him credit for the Charlo versus Harrison and that type of shit too, bro. We got to give him credit here. We can't put it all on.
Yeah, but I'm not singling that out. I'm only talking about TMT Promotions, just like Oscar's on DAZN right now, but we're not going to give DAZN credit for the fights Oscar is putting on, right? So I mean, DT3 just said Golden Boy Promotions, in his opinion, is the worst, and I'm just saying TMT Promotions to me is the worst. I'm not saying the PBC. I'm talking about just the TMT.
Okay,
like, I'm not.
From my understanding, go ahead.
Hold on. do me a favor, unbiased. Give me your opinion taking TMT out of it and put Floyd as PBC. Take TMT out of it, put Floyd as PBC, and what would your opinion be then?
That's a promotional company. That's his promotional
I
company.
know, but just do it that way for me, my man. And what would your opinion be then? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to say this. Let me start off by saying this. To me, TMT is the worst. They're garbage, and they are, in my opinion, the worst. But now I'm going to go by what D is saying, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to say that if that's the case, I can't lie and say PBC hasn't given us some good fights that I thought was not going to be good in the first place. So,
oh shit, man. Oh damn! Did you fall off?
Oh,
all right, go ahead. You back.
All right. Well, yeah. So the least effective, I'll have to say, man, probably, that'd be Eddie Hearn, because we're going by the last 4 years. Then I'm gonna say Eddie. Then in that case, yeah.
All right. Okay. Smoke.
Yeah. I answered. I said it was Golden Boy.
Oh, right.
I mean,
right.
Right. I said it's least effective, but I didn't. But I was thinking of something. I kind of understood your meaning about who's put on the best fights in the last 4 years. But I still think it's Golden Boy.
Right. I'm gonna go with Golden Boy as well, bro. I'm gonna go with Golden Boy as well because let's be honest, bro. Canelo is Golden Boy and has been. And it's not even like multiple fighters and shit. Where you get this with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum. You know, he's got the Furies, now the Annoyed, the Crawford, and you know what I mean? In PBC, they just had a multitude of different fighters. And with Golden Boy, it's pretty much been Canelo. They jumped on here lately with the Valdez and the freaking
but
it's been
D. Matchroom has been just AJ.
Well, over here, but they got pretty good fighters. Hearn's been having pretty good fights. He's been putting on pretty good shows. Oscar ain't been doing shit. Not in Mexico, not in the U.S., nowhere. He had no market nowhere. Like
Brooks Triple G and Brooks Spence. Those are good fights.
Hearn had other stuff going on, whereas Oscar had nothing, bro. But Canelo.
So that's why I didn't say Matchroom, because Matchroom is UK. Like,
but Canelo's been in like the biggest fights in boxing, though. I got
that unbiased, but still, I'm just bro. I get your opinion and I give you yours, but mine is fucking Oscar gets it though. He gets the fucking boot because that motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying. I don't think Matchroom died during that time without AJ. I don't think Matchroom dies. Eddie Hearn worked too hard. He had a lot more other stuff going on. Man, Golden Boy flops without Canelo at that time. Straight flop. Because he had nothing.
Yeah, what if they lose Canelo? What if Oscar lose Canelo right now? What Oscar gonna have?
Ryan Garcia.
Well, right now he's okay because he's got Ryan and Valdez and
and Virgil Ortiz.
You think Ryan not gonna leave if Canelo go?
No.
Nah. I mean, yeah, because he becomes a new guy.
I don't think.
Right.
And then there's Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is already a star in I mean, everybody knows this kid in Texas. He's huge. So I mean, he's definitely en route to be the next star. And then he has Ryan too. So
y'all check this out. Canelo is leaving. That's gonna happen. When Canelo goes, Ryan Garcia and Virgil Ortiz are going to be the forerunners and gunning for that position. So they're going to be putting out massive work for Oscar because they're going to be gunning for that number one guy of Golden Boy. So he got it made right now. What I'm talking about, during the time when we talk about, look, before he just got this, where the other ones were still making fights, this motherfucker had Canelo or nothing, bro. He just recently got this group of guys. And I
love how D protecting Floyd right now. D put on his suit and tie for Floyd. He don't want to mention TMT.
I'm not protecting Floyd. Stop that. Hell no. Nah. But anyway, we're moving on to the next topic for unbiased thoughts. Oh shit. All right. So the most overall impact, bro, on boxing. Now, this could be a positive thing, a negative thing, just like we did with that Canelo situation, however you want to look at it. But the most overall impact on boxing right now, which one of these guys?
And we're just going by 4 years, right?
Yeah, like the last 3 or 4 years, because I want to keep it fair where everybody, had a resume to judge off of. We can't go with Bob because he kills everybody, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not doing, I'm gonna say, okay, my first answer would be Bob. If we're talking about longevity, Bob has been killing the game
Right, but we
for
ain't going with that.
years and years. So,
Right.
but if we're going by 4 years, biggest impact, that's a tough one, man.
Very tough. Very.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
All right, DT3.
Yeah. What was the question? Hold up, I had to get my baby. What was the question?
Out of these 4 guys, right now, we basing it on like the last 3 or 4 years and what they're doing and bringing the boxing. Which of these 3 guys? And real quick, Mike R says all these promoters learn from the best. Don King, tell him about it, Mike. But which of these guys are the most impactful on the sport of boxing today? Oscar, Floyd, Hearn.
Impact, Floyd.
Floyd,
TNT.
break it down. Tell us why.
You said impact. So as far as impact, Floyd is the reason why PBC is moving the way it's running. He's the reason why the machine is moving. Pretty much boxing is kind of going to the flow of how PBC is moving. If you want to be technical, they kind of is controlling the sport in one way, form, or another, because they got a lot of top fighters, because most of the top fighters are in America. So I would have to say, based on the formula that's being ran and based on how it came, TMT. Floyd created this formula. He started this whole new generation of how fighters is doing it, building themselves up on social media, like that. Like Hearn don't have that impact. Bob don't have that impact. Oscar don't have that impact. Canelo don't have that impact. The reason why boxing is, in a sense, you want to say revolutionized to the way it is today, is Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is TNT. Biggest impact, TNT.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead, Obz.
Because I think we're talking about Floyd the fighter, right? Because that not the promoter, because we're talking about him as a promoter.
Well, I'm talking about
TMT.
him as a promoter. So I mean, that's whoever got their explanation, that's the explanation. But I mean, as the game, like Floyd his influence is still there in PBC and the way they move, bro. So you got to just kind of keep in mind the concept unbiased is that he is responsible for that. Like Bob is responsible for top rank.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah, I agree to that. I agree 100% with that sentiment. Right. I'm just trying to figure out, because if we're talking about Floyd as the fighter, I 100% agree.
We're talking about as the promoter, and we're putting him in those shoes, like as Bob or
as PBC personified. If you had to put a person, if you had to put a face on PBC, it's Floyd, right?
Exactly.
That's what. So they're just saying the PBC is Floyd.
Right.
That's how we treat it. Well then, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and the biggest impact. Are we talking about just like who makes the most money and
this impact period, bro? Impact occurs a lot of things. So if you think about it, I know it ain't easy, motherfuckers. It's a fun discussion.
Well, I mean, I think Bob Arum has the best. I mean, I won't say the best stable, but he has the most pound for pound fighters in his stable, right? True. So we could say that he, in that aspect, has a great impact in the sport. He's given us the pound for pound quality fighters, but then who's given us the more quality fights, in my opinion, would be between Oscar and Eddie and PBC. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a hard fucking question. So I'm gonna be neutral on this one, but I don't think, if we're talking about just quality of fights and who's making the most money in the sport in the last 4 years, I'm gonna say that's Eddie Hearn, Oscar, and obviously Floyd. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? So
well, to make it a little easier on you, what if I told you this? You take one of them out of the game, which would hurt boxing the most? If you took one of them out of the game, which one of those being removed would hurt boxing the most? If Bob left, if Oscar left, if Floyd left, or if Eddie left, which one would hurt
I
boxing?
think if Floyd left, that'd be beneficial to the sport because his character would leave as well,
Okay,
like
so
his
we can
whole
knock him out. So we
imprint.
can knock him out, right? Right? Could we knock him out? Because you said if he left, it would be more beneficial to the sport, right?
Yeah.
So then wouldn't that say that he brings the most impact on the sport right now? Because remember, I started this, it
All
doesn't
right, man. Fuck it. Yeah,
matter
you're right. You're right, man.
if negative or positive, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If we're looking at it as a negative thing or a positive thing, it's the impact on the sport. So that's why I just switched the question around for you, so that because nigga, I need a decision. You ain't playing the fence. This is the finale. This is the last question. So you got to get, you know what I mean? So if you flip it around, that means he would be the most impactful, in your opinion, right?
I guess. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
All right, Smoke, you up, dog, and don't try to weasel out because I'm going to lock you back in.
No, it's very simple for me, and this is about my own personal preference, and
Right, that's what
I'll
this is
say it
about.
clearly.
Right? That's what this is
And
about.
I'll say it clearly. I'm saying when it comes to the sport, like how it should be consumed. I think that boxing should be on free TV, right? I think that's where you get the most eyes. That's where I'm judging the impact, right? So 5 million people watching Garcia Thurman to me is the biggest sort of impact on the sport. The closer we can align boxing to the way we consuming boxing, the way we consume every other sport, that to me is the most. That is the sort of the primary, not primary, but it's one of the things that I prefer over almost anything, right?
Right.
So yeah, to the extent that they're doing that, I think that is the most impactful thing on the sport, and I hope that everybody like follows suit. But that's about personal preference. But it also is rooted in just straight the numbers. Also, people actually watch the sport in larger numbers if they don't have to pay for it, or if it's part of a service they already paid for. ESPN has like the second largest numbers, kind of thing. And I would think that ESPN is actually the second most impactful, or top rank, I guess. At least in America, and I feel like America is actually the most impactful country by a lot. But I think there's other countries that are also very impactful that you have to take into consideration. I think Eddie his imprint on the sport has been it's been remarkable. It's been in such a short time he's established himself, but he's not he didn't knock off the big dogs. It's PBC, it's Floyd.
All right, I got you, Smoke. DT3 Boom Man. Finale question, bro. What you got?
I went first. I said TMT Floyd.
Oh, okay. All right. So, shit. I guess we all agree on this one, bro. And I think he is the most impactful on the sport right now when it comes to this. Because, so yeah, you did answer this, Boone. I think you said like a lot of things move around what happens with them and what they do. Ness Mendoza, what's up? And they got their hands in on so much. Like, we got to see this Crawford fight. We had to see Wilder fight one of those guys, and you understand what I'm saying? We got to see Charlo fucking do something. We got to see Tank, because when they have control of all of these belts and they have their hand in on this, that, well, they acquired them somehow. All of these promoters put their fighters in the right position to acquire these belts and everything, so their impact is massive, right? So we got to give that to Floyd. I agree with you guys. So now, when it comes to summary, this is not really. It's just opinionated. It was a great discussion, guys. Thank you for your opinions. But it comes back to one or two, the worst or the best, right? And I'm going to vote in Oscar. I'm going to vote in Oscar for because like we looked at this last category, which to me was one of the big categories, like the impact. Like, man, I look at Oscar De La Hoya and that question that I asked him biased. I think his phone died or something. If we remove Oscar De La Hoya, I think that would be the least impact on the sport of boxing. I think he's the least significant. I think he causes trouble. You know, he had to save his own ass because he had his two best guys really ticked off and ready to walk away, which was Ryan and Canelo. I think he's the worst. He's going to get my vote for number one, the worst of the four, the worst of, these guys. When we look at the best of the worst, we can't put Oscar there because I think all of these promoters are straight shit. I don't like promoters. But when we look at who's the best of the worst, it's definitely not Oscar. I give him the worst. Smoke, the worst in your opinion. You there, Smoke? DT3, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think Smoking on Bias fell off, but go ahead, DT3. In your
I think the worst. I mean, it sucks because there was a time where Golden Boy Promotions was looking to be a promising promotional company, and I'm not saying that it's not because the man is making millions of dollars still, but in a sense of him being more on an independent level is what I'm thinking and going on. And it looked more promising back when I was like a teenager in my early 20s. And then you started to see that a lot of fighters, hell, Deontay Wilder was with Golden Boy at one point in time. So it's just like, it was just like for him to have certain fighters and to lose certain fighters and people don't really have too much good to say about you. And it's not that fighters haven't said bad things about other promoters, because I've heard that's why Mikey Garcia don't want to work with Bob. They don't get along. You know what I mean? So we get it. But Oscar I feel like he fell off, and I feel like he lost his path along the way. I mean, he coolly teamed up with his own, to catch him, get something on the back end or whatnot. But I just feel like Oscar if he left the sport of boxing, nobody would miss him like that. It wouldn't be no big thing if he just said, "Oh, I don't want to promote fights anymore. I'm gonna do something else."
Yeah, Monster, you an asshole. Yeah, no doubt. Smoke.
Yeah. So I got to go ahead and make it a 3 on that one when it comes to Oscar. It seems like he's having a good time with with the young ladies and kitchen utensils and party favors, and not really paying attention to being the best kind of promotional company. He has a all-time great young talent in Canelo, and he's riding that and his catalog until the wheels fall off.
Ryo.
Yeah,
What the hell was?
I don't know. Somebody did. We get weirdos in here all the time. We get weirdos in here from time to time. Everybody gets it. BDA get more weirdos than I get. But yeah. I think it's unanimous. For the worst. I think if Bias was here, he'll probably give. I think his phone died or something. He was probably out. But all right, so this is gonna be a hard one because we went through the categories, and so it's like, who would you guys consider the best? I mean, we already get to at least eliminate Oscar because he can't be the best if he's the worst. So we can at least eliminate him. But who would you guys consider the best out of these guys? And so it's down to Floyd, Hearn, and Bob. BDA getting in for the last comment.
Ryo.
That ain't BDA, huh? Yeah. Y'all there? Boone, you there?
Yeah, I want Smoke to go first.
Oh, go ahead, Smoke.
Okay. Sorry. What's the question?
I said we can eliminate Oscar because we already agreed that he was the worst. It was no discussion. But the tough question now is, out of the three guys left, who would you consider the best?
The best promoter. Okay. Right. So it's kind of right. So Floyd, while they have a good operation going promotionally, I mean, I guess they have that deal with Fox, and that's boosted him up. But it's kind of hard to it's just too weird to wrap my head around them as a promotional outfit, right? Everybody, there's just too much going on, and just to put it on promotion. I mean, that Inside PBC, Inside the PBC is a good show. Damn, but Eddie makes those rounds, man. That dude's everywhere. You never know he's gonna pop up with his story and some some nonsense to sell you.
Right.
Yeah, just in the traditional hard scrabble, boots on the ground, grassroots promotion. It's hard to go against Eddie. In the effectiveness of the American market, and that impact on the world, it's really hard to go against PBC. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna go tie for first because it's really 6 on one hand, half dozen on the other. They don't do the same thing the same way.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna just call it a spade, just straight. I'm going with Eddie. Fuck it.
Right.
I'm going with Eddie.
Break it down for us, boo.
And the reason why I'm gonna go with Eddie is because as a fighter, right, I'm looking at everything that's going on, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I like the little lifestyle they living over at PBC. That look nice. Y'all got money. You feel me? Y'all get money. I see it. Y'all doing living lavish. Okay. I want to strap, though. Y'all don't fight enough for me. Y'all only fight like once, twice a year for whatever reason. I don't give a fuck whatever reason it is. That's just what y'all do. I don't like that. And Bob, he hella cricket. He be on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to deal with his old ass. Fuck Bob. But Eddie don't give a fuck. If I say I want to fight the top nigga tomorrow, Eddie gonna do everything in his power to make that shit happen. Just because I'm fucking with, and he gonna pay me. He gonna overpay me in a sense for his job. He gonna overpay me. But for me, I'm getting paid more than all y'all. So I'm going with Eddie because he gonna keep me active. He gonna keep me busy, and he gonna pay me. And that's just the real. And he don't. And in a sense, it's up to me to pick who I want to fight. Like I could pick who I really want, and he will really go out and do what he got to do to make it happen. He said it in the interview that he'd be wrong for if a fighter tells me he want to fight the top guy and I put him in there with him, they're gonna say, "Oh, Eddie putting him in there to get fucked up. Oh, Eddie's a terrible promoter." But if I put him in there with smaller opposition, then they gonna say I'm carrying him, I'm babying him. He's fighting bums and all that. So he's like, I can't win either way. So I'm like, I'm fucking with you, bro. I'm fucking with you. Just on the fact that that's your mindset on some shit. I'm fucking with Eddie.
Right. Well, Smoke, you shocked me. Get this, Smoke? You shocked me. But I have to agree, though. Like, I edged the Eddie, and a lot of the reasons for what Smoke was saying, like just the grind. When you think of the traditional promoter always being there out on the grind, the same way I gave him heat for telling a lot of lies because he's involved in so much is the same way that I'm going to give him the respect that he is involved in so much. That's the grind that you want to see. Like you want to see your promoter out there getting shit done, right? This is what we see. And Eddie makes things happen. And I said earlier in the live when we were talking about this that I kind of hold him in high regards. I kind of gave my self-aware on this, but I hold him in the highest regards at being the best promoter of today. So, you know, that's what I'm just coming back to. I got Eddie Hearn all day. Like, I can give all of these promoters criticism, and that's what this discussion was about. Like, so that we could get out and give these guys praise, we could give them criticism. It wasn't really about scoring anything and then, okay, well, we're going to say this guy's the worst because we scored it this way. Because at the end of the day, at the end of this discussion, we're still all going off of what we feel. And I just feel like Eddie gets the respect from me for right now as being the best guy out there because of his hustle, bro. You know what I mean? His hustle, and he's doing his very best to make shit happen. And we can't say that he's trying to, beat these guys in the head for money. You know, we can put that on each one of the other guys, Bob, Floyd, and Oscar. We can put that curse on them. They trying to beat these guys down a little bit. But we can't put that on Eddie because, as far as everybody's concerned, he overpaying these motherfuckers. So, you know, I got Eddie Hearn, man. What's up, Charles D?
What up, brother?
What's good with you, dog? You want to chime in on this last question? Like, who you feel is the best promoter out of all of these guys?
Yeah, because we sitting in the chat confused as shit. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, is he like you want to exclude Golden Boy, but they're attached to the zone, but yet we can't include TMT but somehow Floyd is attached to PBC, which is true. But
that's
it's like
what I said. And I was like, nah, that's why we broke it down to him. Nah, we won't say that. We were just telling him, since Floyd representing, like he got up there and told Manny Pacquiao, I'm the boss. I mean, Pacquiao that had nothing to do with TMT. He didn't sign no deal with TMT. He signed a deal with the PBC. But Floyd got up there and told him, shut up, I'm the boss. You know what I mean? So you get up there and you say that like the same way we give Spence and these guys heat for saying you the boss. If you say you the boss, then we want to see you make shit happen. Well, Floyd makes shit happen at the PBC. And he getting up there yelling about he the boss. So I said at the beginning of this whole exercise that we're going to treat him and put him in the same shoes as Oscar, as Eddie, as Arum, so that we don't have to keep going back and forth about that. So if you
if it was just the TMT by itself, he wouldn't make the cut. Like,
right,
of course, TMT shouldn't be in this conversation. You have to make him the PBC, or else why the hell are we talking about?
He doesn't even fit in the conversation because TMT is straight trash. They're not impactful. They're not the most anything. You know what I mean?
Well, they could have been, because he had hella talent in that gym.
Yeah, that's a fact. They could have been. But look, Charles D, do me a favor.
What's up?
Who do you think out of all of these four guys are the best promoters? Tell me that.
Well, Oscar's not the worst because he did what he was supposed to do. He got his fighter paid. That was another thing that I was disagreeing on, because y'all was like, okay, well, De La Hoya, he attached himself to the zone. He did what he was supposed to do. He got Canelo one of the biggest goddamn contracts in the game.
Oh,
like him or not, he got Canelo paid and some big fights.
Give us your worst and your best since you up here. Give us who you think the worst is, and give us who you think the best is.
So the choices was De La Hoya, Hearn, Floyd, and who was the fourth one?
It was Arum.
Damn, Arum been snaking niggas for years. Shit.
No, you gotta stick to nowadays, like the last 4 or 5 years. Arum wins everything. If we
everything, win everything.
Trail of treachery, he wins everything. But we talk about, like, we got to keep it in perspective. So you're looking at like the last 3 or 4 years. Who would you give the title to of being the best one of these guys?
And that's why I said the last 3 or 4 years would have to go. What we doing? De La Hoya, he's connected with the zone, right?
It's what you doing, nigga. The worst or the best. Stop making this so hard, nigga. Who you got?
No, because I could hear DT3 in the background, nigga.
Yeah, he said the same thing I was saying. Who the fuck you got as the worst and who the fuck you got as the best?
Well, the worst would have to be right now is PBC.
Floyd. So you got Floyd. for the conversation, Floyd's the worst, which TMT, so he would be the worst.
Yeah,
anyway.
because even look at the bullshit that's going on with they stable. You can't even get them niggas to fight each other.
Right.
So hands down, they're the worst.
All right. And the best.
Shit, I would give it a split because Top Rank, even though if you're going by numbers, they didn't do good, but they had some fire ass cards. And the same thing with the Zone. The Zone is more consistent. They put out more fight. You know what I mean? They give you more content. But if you're going by the worst, PBC hands down. The Zone and Top Rank, they can share. They can share that other side.
Ain't no share, nigga. Ain't no share. Pick one. Eddie Hearn or Bob Arum. Don't even try that. Diplomatic.
All right, well, fuck. I don't like old fisheye, so I'll give it to Eddie.
All right, yeah. Well, everybody, I just Aops. Sorry, guys. Aops said he done done some good shit. Aops said he don't agree that Oscar's the worst either. So Aops, who you got as the worst, Aops?
I have a question for all these people who are picking Oscar's not the worst. Like, do you guys know how many fighters that are signed to Golden Boy?
What you mean, currently or like in the past 4 or 5 years? Like you doing the same time span
currently are in
as
currently are in the last 4 or 5 years. Whichever one you want to take it.
Whichever one you want.
Let's see. Well, right now, this is the best roster he's got till this date. Period. Besides just having Canelo, like if you.
Yeah, I'm not talking about quality. I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about quantity.
Quantity.
Oh, quantity. Oh, he's never had a big roster.
No, but that's the whole point. Is actually has hundreds of fighters. You just don't know who they are. That's why he's not good.
That's the same shit with PBC. They only got about 10 that you can name.
Yeah, but
you know who they. You can keep that. You can name. You know who they. But even with the PBC, it's still like something like 20 deep. Like it's not 3 deep. It's not 4 deep. You could go like probably 30 fighters you can name on PBC.
What, now or in the past 4 or 5 years?
Now and the past, whichever one.
The past 4 or 5 years, the people.
Before we get hold on, guys, hold on. Before we get into specific numbers, the point that Smoke is making, and I want to stick to the point of this because don't get into specific numbers. The point he's making is actually true, bro. That Golden Boy has less fighters than all of them. Like there's more significant fighters in with Eddie Hearn. There's more significant fighters with Bob Arum, and there's more significant fighters with Floyd than with Oscar De La Hoya. Much more significant fighters.
Yeah, but you also got to see De La Hoya is now De La Hoya did that shit as a chess move to go fuck with the Zone.
But he's not really fucking with the Zone besides through Canelo.
He don't have
and his catalog. But I'm just saying that he got Canelo paid. That's great that he got Canelo paid. But his business has more people on it than Canelo.
Right. He could get the Zone fighters. Okay, cool. But like Eddie Hearn, he can determine shit over there or influence shit. Oscar can't influence a goddamn thing. Only thing he can do is set up a fight with one of their fighters. He got an open door for that, and then he just got Canelo. That's his ties with the Zone, but he's not like an Eddie Hearn where he's doing business for them or
no. Eddie Hearn, that was a fucking. That was a bank heist for that was a big ass keep the engine running. That was a bank move for Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn.
That move,
Eddie Hearn knew what he was doing.
That's why I got Eddie Hearn at the best because that move he made with the Zone and the move that he made with the people out in Saudi, because he got that situation on lock too. They only going to work with him. So look, bro, Eddie Hearn.
I don't know if they're going to only work with him, but he's got a leg up.
He got a leg up, and I bet you he'll make money off of anybody else who work with them. I bet you he will. Bet you anyone.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not actually fair. Like when it comes to, when it comes to the PBC, they're kind of the way that they treat promoters is kind of as an afterthought. So it's kind of hard to pick them as a promotion. Even if you put Floyd on there, and it just from a promotional standpoint, it's got to be Eddie. Like what they do for promotion is like television programming. It's like that. It's like they have TV shows, and I guess that's you reach more people that way. So I mean, it's a better kind of promotional tool. But as it just comes to a straight promoter, it's got to be Eddie, right? I mean, but yeah, that's why I said it's 6 on one hand, half dozen on the other, because they don't really do the same thing.
Boxing Monster, you just biased for Mexicans, bro. So stop it. Stop it with your comments. Stop being biased, dog. Then Leo went crying to Daddy Al. Well, I don't know what Jose talking about. What's up, Jose Yepes? Well, I don't know, man. See, that's why I like discussions like this, because like we all got reasons. We had our reasons for saying Oscar's the worst.
Yeah, but I was trying to figure out how's Oscar the worst, but then Floyd gets excluded. Like we was in the chat confused. Like, how the fuck do you say Golden Boy but leave out TNT? TNT is good garbage.
Right. And I was about to say Charles had his reasons for saying Floyd was the worst, and we all had our reasons for saying that Hearn was the best or whatever. But that's what these discussions was about. So I wasn't really going to say that anybody was wrong, Charles D. I was just going to say that's why we have these discussions too. Like, it's not like the points that you brought up weren't valid. So saying,
oh no, I agree with it. I was just saying I was confused. It's just a matter of everyone's opinion. But I'm like, how the hell is Oscar the worst? Like, he did what he was supposed to do as a promoter. He got his fighter paid.
His fighter. And so when guys,
that's what I was on with that. It was I don't knock Oscar. I was just saying, like, based on, if you look at the body of work from Eddie Hearn to Bob Arum to even Al Heyman, like the way that he got, you got to think about it. I get what you're saying about them fighting and all that, but I'm looking at, okay, the fighters over at PBC, them niggas is happy. They over here chilling, like Charlos, all them niggas. They cool. They loving their little lifestyle. They living that shit. They cool. So I'm on that. He doing a lot for them. I see how he got them going. And then I look at what Oscar doing. Yeah, he got Canelo paid, but he ain't. What Ryan Garcia, where his $100 million contract? That's the boy band of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Where his shit at? You know what I mean? He had Deontay Wilder at one time, lost him. You know what I mean? It's just like Oscar. He's not getting fighters paid like Eddie Hearn is getting fighters paid, and like Al Heyman and Bob Arum, they doing their thing.
But you can't put Ryan in that category because he's still up and coming. But you could best believe he got next.
But he's selling out though. He doing numbers though, bro.
No. I know, but I agree with you. I said that's why I said he got next. Like, say if the fallout get real bad and Canelo wants to fall off. Canelo already got his bread. Look who De La Hoya got to fall back on. He got Riot. He got Virgil. Like, he got up and coming prospects that's going to get busy.
I need them. I want to see if he get them paid, then I'll bump him up. If he get them fighters paid, then he bumps up in my book. I can't speak for Smoke, you know.
And then you gotta also look at they're young. Ryan, young. Ortiz, young.
Ryan, what, 22?
Yeah, but
shit, I think he's 20. I think he's 21. I think him and Ortiz are both young. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're the future.
Yeah, you talk about the future. But they said if Canelo went away right now, their present would be pretty bleak. In the future,
but the future looks bright because you got them on the roster.
Yeah, you got three guys on the roster: the Virgil, Valdez, and Ryan.
And from the way it looks like, they're not going nowhere. They riding with Oscar, at least to this point.
Then you got Frank Sanchez.
That's the heavyweight dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not bad. He ain't.
And now you got and actually now you got Andy Ruiz. He's not with them yet, but that PBC contract he gonna end up going Golden Boy because he Mexican. Viva la Mexico. They're gonna take care of him.
He fucking with Reynoso and shit. Yeah, then you gotta see how he look. You gotta see the finished product before you throw that out there. I mean, he got that.
Yeah, Mark, they go to the link.
A question you didn't ask was who's the most vulnerable, and Eddie. If the zone is gone, then Eddie has a huge problem in the U.S. market. So like Mr. Promoter, like the traditional guy, might actually might have some problems with a broadcaster in this market, because the PBC has nothing but broadcast contracts from here to as far as I can see.
Yeah, Boxer, you know I know you ain't biased, fool. What you biased anyway?
That's a good question. Bias said, "Who's made the most stars?"
Yeah.
Recently, we talking about the 4 or 5 years, right?
Peace, Des. Peace out, fam. Yeah. What's up, Mark? Raider, what's up, fellas?
Yo, what's up, my boy? Was cracking?
Same old, same old. We just at the end of this discussion. You know, I mean, but y'all could, well, like, we got a couple of guys got Floyd as the worst promoter. Oscar is the worst promoter. Everybody pretty much so far agreed that at this time, Eddie Hearn is probably the best promoter. That's pretty what we was talking about at this, like, in summary.
Everyone had who is the best and who is the worst.
No, it was mixed up about the worst, but everyone pretty much agreed that Hearn was the best right now at this time. But
I said Floyd's the worst.
Yeah,
I agree. Floyd is the worst.
Right. Floyd. Charles D said Floyd. Bias said Floyd. Me smoke.
Right. The way that he's describing Floyd is PBC, though, right? He's just saying that Floyd.
No, not me.
The PBC, not Floyd himself.
Not me.
I'm talking about
Floyd. I'm just talking about Floyd Promotions.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's talking about PBC.
Let me clear that up too. Raider and Unrivaled. We were talking about it in Floyd. If you put Floyd in the shoes of Oscar and Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn, where he's basically representing and in control of that network, that's how we were looking at him in those shoes. And so, we had a couple of Floyds, we had a couple of Oscar De La Hoyas, and for the worst. But everybody pretty much agreed that Hearn was the best at this time.
I have a different opinion on who the worst promoter is.
Well, go ahead. But it's got to be out of these 4 guys, Mark, right here. I'll put it on the screen because
it's out of certain. Okay.
Yeah, it's out of the 4
and all of that. It's out of Floyd, Oscar, Arum, or Hearn.
I'm picking Leonard Ellerbie.
Floyd, Oscar, Arum, or Hearn.
Floyd's not the promoter though; he's just the face. Ellerbie's the one doing the promoting though. We know that though. Come on.
Yeah. But see, Mark, let's not make this difficult. It's like you just let everything fly over your head that we just said.
Hey, you're not. Are you including PBC with Floyd or no?
Yes. So you see how Oscar's Golden Boy. We put
that's different now then because
Floyd is PBC situation.
But to be fair though, you can't mention Floyd though without Ellerbie though, because they do go hand in hand.
So who's Floyd got on his books? Who's Floyd got on his books? Who's he got on his books?
Difficult, dog.
Who's Floyd got on his books? Tank and who else?
The whole damn
Badu Jack probably.
The whole PBC.
J. Leon Love.
Who does Arum have under his stable? Who does Badu Jack? So and Floyd would be representing that under the PBC. So who's ever there, that's what Floyd has, Mark. That's for the discussion purpose. That's how.
For the discussion purpose.
That's what I said, Mark. That's what I'm saying. That's what we had it for the discussion purpose.
And you said for me not to make it difficult. I thought we were talking about people you actually promote. Okay. I'd say Oscar because I think Richard Schaefer does most of his fucking promoting.
All right.
Well, they're not together no more, right? I think didn't he make his own thing, Richard Schaefer, Ringstar or some shit like that?
Yeah, they did, but since then, like what Canelo? Like Oscar doesn't need to promote Canelo.
Yeah, I mean Oscar does have a shitload of fighters. He's got a grip of fighters.
Yeah, but for this conversation, Floyd has the PBC, so Floyd wins. No.
Yeah, I don't know who I'll pick, to be honest, because PBC's got a lot of good fighters, too.
If I was just basing it off of promoting, but based on the pool of talent, fantasy-wise, you've given them.
Bias says
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Eddie
Hey,
Hearn.
hey, real quick, what do you mean by best? Do you mean like who's putting on the most fights, or who gets their fighters paid more, or
I
how
mean,
do you
what do you consider the best promoter right now? Because it really was opinionated in your perspective on who's the best promoter. There's a lot of factors on what it takes to be the best promoter. We broke that down. Like Smoke and I said that we appreciated the way Eddie Hearn is on the grind and he get out there. He's here, there, he's everywhere. He communicates with the public. He's out there working for his fighters. He's making things happen. So whatever you decide, you break
as
it down.
as a fan, I can give a shit how much those fools are getting paid. So I would have to give it to who's giving us the best fights. For me,
And
my
so who
opinion.
do you have and break it down? So that's all we want. Who do you
Fuck,
have as the best promoter and break it down of why?
fuck. I don't know. I mean, they all give us good fights too, right? And they always give us shitty fights. So I mean, PBC gives us good fights, but at the same time, they give us shitty pay-per-views, and good ones. Fucking the Zone has been giving us good ass boxing too. The Super Series, um, ESPN has been giving us fucking Josh Taylor, and I don't know, man. That you got to really break that down to give an honest opinion about that. But if I had to choose just off the top of my head, probably Eddie Hearn. He's trying to make fights. You know what I mean? Of what I see.
Hey.
For best promoter, I'd probably pick Cali and Nisei Sauerland.
Break it down.
They brought us the World Boxing Super Series. They created it. There you go.
You breaking
Yeah,
up.
there was somebody.
Mark, you breaking
They
up.
created it.
Oh, all right. There you go. You back. You said they created the World Super Series.
Yeah, they felt that they owned the World Boxing Super Series.
Right.
And they brought us the Undisputed at Cruiserweight, Usyk, etc. They brought us the World. They brought us Series 2 of that. They brought us the Bantamweights. They brought us a new weight in there, the Fight of the Year last year, Taylor Prograis. They're the ones who brought it. They're the promoters behind it, so I'm going to go with them, even though they're not on the mainstream. I think the World Boxing Super Series is the best thing to happen in boxing in the last 3 years.
I wouldn't argue with that, and I wish they could get a lot more tournaments to happen around a lot more weight classes, because that brings us really what we all want, man. Those tournaments like that, it brings the best guys to the table. You got to fight to get those belts. Like that's what we want. Like if you think about it, boxing fans, we want it to be regulated, but we want it to go back to like the gladiator days, where the best man wins, the last fucking man is standing. You know what I mean? But it's got to be regulated. That's what we really want boxing. Those fucking tournaments, you just the last man, the best guy. Like they fight each other, and they get down to the last two guys, and they get all the belts. They get the big prize. That's what it's all about. So shit, I wouldn't argue with that at all, Mark.
I know some people have been like, because it was on the Zone, but remember, like, boxing's worldwide. It was on multiple networks, Japan and in different places in Asia. It was on in different places, like through the UK, Germany, etc. The World Boxing Super Series. It's not only to the Zone. That's why I give it to them. That thing went worldwide. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, man. They should do that in every fucking weight class, man. Do a little fucking playoffs like in NFL, fucking baseball, basketball. The best 8, dude, on each division. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7. You know?
Yeah.
He didn't want to include us in the Sauerlands.
No.
And,
Look,
you know,
hold on for a second.
No, I was just gonna say one thing about the World Boxing Super Series is those fighters actually have promoters also.
Yeah,
so it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, they do, which is fair. Those fighters do have promoters, but even Eddie Hearn said this. He sent Callum Smith over to a rival promotional company for that tournament. Sauerlands were promoting the tournament. I mean, yes, other promoters have the fighters or whatever, and fair play to the promoters allowing the fighters to go there. Still the Sauerlands who did that and got that going.
All right, so let me respond to Earth Boxer right quick. He said, "D, how you allow Mark to put Saunders in, in there, but we couldn't say TMT because I wasn't. I was just letting Mark say his piece, and everybody started jumping in. I was gonna say, Mark, that's all good and dandy, but he won't one of the four guys. And I was gonna
Okay.
go back to that.
Then of the four guys, Eddie Hearn.
Thank you. There we
He's
go.
the most accessible promoter in the sport. Very easy for fans to interact with. He's got more videos put out there. He gets more of his names of his fighters out there himself. He grinds a lot. He brought boxing back in the UK, which helps. Like he really brought it back to the forefront in the UK. He's taken a couple of fighters from the start all the way up to world title level and beyond. No, he managed to go from the UK into America, break it, get pound for pound caliber talent, into the zone in the beginning. Some fighters not, some good fights on there. He's brought Estrada Rungvisai was on there. He's trying to get fights with Canelo and Billy Joe soon. I know Canelo's way a golden boy, but Billy Joe's also with Matchroom. I mean, he's doing good. He had the Andy Ruiz Joshua fight, which was the upset of the year last year. I mean, these things are all part and parcel.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So yeah, he's done really good. He's put on the two biggest fights in UK history in terms of pay-per-view as well, with Lad and Joshua and Ruiz and Joshua. So I mean, he's really put himself into the fray.
Hey, Mark, let me ask you a question real quick.
Hold on,
You said,
hold on.
my bad.
JC, Mark is Unrivaled Boxing Talking News, so go subscribe to him so you can really get to know him. He's a sharp dude, knows everything you need to know about boxing. So go subscribe to his channel, and you'll really know who Mark is. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. Go subscribe right now. Thanks, JC. Go ahead, Ray.
Boxing historian.
I had a question for Mark real quick. Is Eddie Hearn Saunders promoter?
He is now, yeah.
Hey, don't you think that's like a conflict of interest since like fucking Eddie Hearns knows all the zone's business and like not all the business, but like the money and all the situation, Canelo's contracts for negotiating purposes? Don't you think like that's like a conflict of interest? Like when he's
Eddie
dealing
Hearn
with
doesn't
like,
know
Canelo?
anything about Canelo's contracts.
Huh?
I mean, Eddie Hearn
doesn't know
is a
anything
part.
about
The thing
Canelo.
about Eddie Hearn though is he is a partner of the zone. I get that. Nobody can answer the question whether or not Eddie Hearn has any details into any other fighters' contracts outside of his own. Because I don't think he would.
No, I don't think he does.
No one could actually answer that
I know-
factually, mate.
I know he does with Golovkin, but that's only because he partnered up with him and got him the DAZN deal in the first place. He had something to do with it.
Plus, he kind of already knows what Canelo's getting per fight anyway. I think everybody does because he's on that 11 fight deal, 365 million. So
Yeah.
he's on a fixed term contract, bro.
Yeah. So my question is he dealing with Canelo like Golden Boy when they're negotiating, or is it with the zone?
He probably ain't dealing with either unless it's fighter involved.
No, I'm talking about
he's
the
just-
negotiations. Like
He's
how
talking
much
about
is it-
negotiations. Let's say Saunders is involved against Canelo. I mean, he'd probably be negotiating with DAZN for Saunders push. But
Yeah,
he
that's what
wouldn't
I'm
be
saying.
negotiating with Canelo because Canelo wouldn't be paying that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So since Eddie Hearn knows already, like kind of is partnered with the zone, how you don't think that's a kind of a conflict of interest a little bit? I mean, that's what I think. Since everybody kind of knows the numbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I mean,
would also go for any one of his fighters fighting Canelo, which most of his fighters are in line for.
never
that's
even
only
mind
super
that.
middleweight.
It would only be a conflict of interest if Canelo wasn't on a contract. Canelo's already getting the amount of money. It doesn't change anything. All it means is that he can.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Smoke. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say that it could very well be, and it is probably likely that the zone just bought a portion of Matchroom, in which case he wouldn't be privy to any of those negotiations. He would just have a piece of the company.
Highly probable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's happened though. But no, it wouldn't be a conflict of interest, mate, because Canal's on a fixed term contract. If he wasn't on a fixed term contract and they started the negotiation periods and he was a part of the accounts team, then yes, it would be. But otherwise, no.
Yeah, no, I get that. I didn't mean it towards Canelo because I know Canelo's on a fixed. He's got his salary basically. I just meant it as a
Oh, fixed
negotiation
term.
as Saunders, as his how much he's gonna get.
Oh, I see what you mean. So, like, because
Oh,
Eddie has a stake in the company, they're given a certain amount to Canelo. Eddie could slightly lowball Billy Joe and say, "This is the best offer we can get," to save
Yeah,
his
either
own money
low
in the
bar
back.
or either low bar or say, hey, you know what, you can get more money. Like hey, let's wait. You can get more money from the zone, or vice versa. You can play it either way.
I mean, that's a possibility, but what I am going to say is, welcome to boxing. That's a reality, mate. That happens anyway. So,
Yeah, Mike Tyson used to get, he got shares as salary in Caesar's Palace, right? And then he also had Don King being the administrator for the shares. And it was just getting paid in shares of a company. Sure, you're partnered with the company, but you're also tied to that company's success. And Caesar's. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just saying that it doesn't mean that there's a conflict of interest. I'm going to just put it that.
Break out the pipes, Mark. Julius, bring out you say he came here to hear you sing.
I can't sing right now because I actually have a problem. No, hear me out. I actually have a real problem with my chest at the moment, so I can't. I legit can't sing. It hurts.
All right.
I sing all the time, bro.
You know who else sings right here? Get the Smoke. He sings every time he's talking to JFL.
Oh yeah,
That's the only. Hey, tell him why you sing, because that's the only way that JFL understands him.
JFL, man. These guys, man, they running around talking about burying channels and stuff. I keep getting all of these damn DMs and stuff. I'm like, man, ain't nobody worried about El Jefe and H Money. They done teamed up to bury channel. Bury a channel, man. What the hell is wrong with these dudes?
They ain't got a brain cell between them.
What are you gonna do? Try to get all the channels around you kicked off, and then sit up there and talk rhetoric and still get no subs. Ain't nobody coming to listen to that nonsense and foolishness, man. These guys are crazy, bro. That's why I don't entertain them, bro. I don't go on their channels. I don't fucking bother with those dudes, bro. I don't make videos about them. Not even worth the time, dog. So
hey, you think these Charlos are getting paid like how they're living the lifestyle, or you think that's just like a front or something?
Who knows? Those
No
houses,
one knows.
No, I said this before, bro. Those houses have mortgages on it, so people gotta understand this. It's not like they going and buying those houses in cash. Those houses got mortgages on them. No one can tell these kids how to spend their money or what to sign for or anything like that. This is why the percentages of all athletes going broke after their career is over with is so high, because a lot of these athletes do the same dumb shit. They buy a lot of this shit that is on the level of a cost of living of 100 millionaire or something. They don't have money like that, but they're buying this stuff as if they have money like that. And then when the boxing career is over and shit, like they can't afford landscaping every month for a place like that, house cleaning for a place like that. You know what?
Yeah, but hey, those houses are. I bet you Smoke's house is worth more than that house, because those houses are in Texas. I bet you Smoke's house worth more. Those houses are probably.
I don't know what the thing is for those. But if they're
those
not,
houses are probably like 900,000. I bet you they're not that worth that much.
Yeah, well, there's a mortgage on the house, and if it's a house like 900,000, then you best believe they're paying more money than that for that house.
Yep, they know who you are.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna sell it to you for 900,000.
If it's 900,000, they're paying more than that for the house. And
a house like that in LA is like fucking $15 million. And in Texas, that's not even $1 million.
Probably be about $4 or $5 million here.
Nah, in Texas, hell no. I've seen some
Oh, I
houses
didn't
like
text
that for like
here.
800-900 grand.
Greater. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I said here. I didn't say in Texas. I said here.
Oh, my bad, my bad,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah, but anyway, Red Glove Militant just stepped in the back. What's up, Red Glove? Who is that? Who else is that from Prime Fight? What's up, Red Glove? I'm gonna shut this down in a minute, but what's up with you, dog?
No, it's all good. I knew you were about to shut down, so I wasn't expecting to, talk a lot. But I just wanted to speak on Mark's singing abilities. He can sing, and he's done it on a me and him did a little sing off like a month ago, so I could tell you from firsthand experience he can sing, and
Yeah, I
if
heard
he
you
sang,
before.
oh, all right, yeah. So, but this was good. Since I'm on here, might as well just say this. Good topic of discussion. In a time where a bunch of other channels feel like they need to start beef and
Yeah.
yeah, to be entertaining, you it, instead of taking the negative route, you're taking the positive route, and just making boxing discussion, which is really what everybody should be doing. So
Hey, Red
big
Glove,
props
you
to you,
talk
D.
shit, man. Red Glove, stop talking shit, man. Stop
What are
talking
you?
shit.
Who
You
the
are
hell is
talking
that?
serious smoke, man. Stop talking all that shit,
Who
man.
is that?
Who is that?
Wow.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know. You know how I let these people, or I let people on, and then they come on with subscribers' names and stuff. So don't pay no attention.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I know you wasn't like trying to bring somebody to start shit with me. I'm just like, I
No,
didn't know who that was. But anyways, like I was saying, big props to you, and that's why I got a lot of respect for you, D. Well, one of the reasons that there's other reasons why I respect you, but
yeah,
for that
like
reason, that's why everybody needs to subscribe to D Jefferson if you haven't done so already, and everybody else on the panel. And if you feel like checking me out, of course,
check him
subscribe to
out.
me as well.
Don't feel like it. Go do it. Check him out. Check him out.
All
Nah,
right, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop off D because I know you're shutting it down. And
yeah.
but
I
take it
appreciate you
easy.
coming through right quick, fam.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Peace.
All right. So smoke. Let me get some closing thoughts, Jose. I'm getting ready to close it down, bro. I'm going to closing thoughts, Jose. Yepes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, fun. But again, another fun topic. Another day. Appreciate the grind. Keep it coming. Peace to the panel, Boone, Unbiased. I know Alistair was trying to get in, but had technical difficulties. And then
Yeah.
Mark, Raider, you already know. Next time. Peace, guys.
Peace. Thanks, Smoke. Prime Fighting Champions. Yeah, I know that wasn't you, dog. That's why I was telling Red Glove that they always put in subscribers' names and then come on here with that bullshit. So I knew that wasn't you, Prime Fighting Champion. We good, bro. We good, my man. So Raider, give me some closing thoughts, fam.
Nah, just thank you for having me on, my boy. And everybody in the chat. What's cracking. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Good topics.
I appreciate you, Raider. And my man Mark, Unrivaled.
Yo, thanks for having me on, bro. Thanks to everybody in the show for watching. Everybody who's been listening, hit the like button. If you're watching on archive and you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. And you know what it is. Take it easy and peace.
Peace. And y'all go subscribe to Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. Mark got a lot of good things going on there and a lot of good things coming to you. But look, guys, again, these type of discussions, peace, Prime Fighting, these type of discussions are just instrumental so that we can come up with our own opinions. We can hear opinions from all the sides of the guys on the panel. And like I said, with different boxing minds, you get different viewpoints, you get different perspectives, and a lot of valid perspectives that you may not have looked at it in this way or that way. And then you can come up with your own perspective based on everything you hear. So at the end of the day, we can't really determine who is the best or who's the worst because there's so many variables, so many factors, and it's all going to come down to opinion anyway. But at least with boxing discussions like this, pure boxing discussions, we can get some validity behind why people think things a certain way. And we can assess things ourselves and come up, you know, with our own determinations. And then we'll decide for ourselves who's the worst, who's the best, and our own opinions. Because that's what boxing talk really is, opinions. So we should all get to express our opinions, and everybody should be okay with that. Hey, I appreciate all of y'all coming out, man. Another great topic. See you guys tomorrow, 12 p.m. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk Live Daily. Y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.